Hey guys, it's Chris here from Chris's Creative Life, and I design workshops that help you create beautiful projects from start to finish with easy to follow guides. And it's been a little while since we've Chris-ified anything, so I thought we would have some fun today. So I'm going to show you the image of what we're going to Chris-ify. Let me just make sure I'm opening the right image. But as part of the Spooky Sweet collection in the media and stuff, there was pictures of this cute little banner. And so I thought we could take that banner, but of course we're going to switch it up a little bit. I have some fun things planned, and let's see what we're going to create. Okay, I'm just going to add my desk in here. I'm going to show you what I've pulled. I've done like a little bit, but not very much prep work. So let me just add my desk in here. We'll check out the light situation. We'll add some more light. So for whoever has not seen the Spooky Sweet collection, we'll just look at it, some of it first. So this is what the paper looks like. This is like literally my favorite guy out of the whole thing, I think. But so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different pieces of paper. They're double-sided. This happens to be like tags, and then this is like a scene. I'll see if I have a full sheet here. So this is like this tag sheet. I'm just going to try and move my keyboard out of the way so I don't hit a key here. So one side has these fun tags, right, that you could use for attaching to treat containers or any of those fun things. In my workshop, my scrapbooking workshop I created, I did use some of them as like little journaling boxes, and then some of them are just like a fun little decorative element on one of the scrapbooking pages, but that's the back side of that. And then there's this cute sheet with all these characters. And I did, for my banner, fussy cut them out beforehand so that you didn't have to watch me do that. But the back side's like that fun pumpkin pie, like distress, but it's also got like this little tiny dot on it. And then I do actually love this piece of with the little candies on it. And then the back side is just like black and orange. But I was going to show you. So it also has, let's get stuck in my bag here, a punch out sheet, 2 punch out sheets that have just some fun other characters, right? There's this little princess and this little crow carrying a pumpkin, and then there's this hippopotamus with his little treat bag, and then there's some other fun elements that you could create a scene with. And then the other fun piece of paper, and I'm going to use this actually as part of my banner, is this fun piece of paper. On the back side's the purple. And then on this side, there's like this fun little scene, and then some 4x6 pieces that you could cut out. You could use this as like a journaling spot, or add them to a scene on your scrapbooking page, or you could add them to as like a card front. So I'm going to keep these pieces handy because maybe I'll show you where I got some of the stuff from that I picked for my banners. Okay, so I'm just trying to put it somewhere so that if it actually falls, it's not going to take down my whole desk. But so the products that I grabbed was, I grabbed the party, well, this is the package for the, oh, look, it's both. Party alphabets dies, I did use those. And then I have the party banners dies. And we're going to use these 3. So it's not the smallest and not that one next to it, but I'm going to use the next 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I'll show you along the way what I used for, what size I used for my pieces. Okay, and I did not cut, so you can cut holes in the top of the banners so that you can string them through. But if you actually look at the photograph, they use the little bat clip, which is this piece. It almost turns into like a paper clip. So I'll show you where it came from, but they use this to actually hold, oh, you can't actually see the bat until I fold it over here. So they put this at the top of all of the little banner pieces, and that's what holds the ribbon. So I thought that was super cute. So we're going to do that. I'm not going to put holes. I didn't put holes in my banners, but you can put holes in the pennants with these little corner pieces, and then you can use these to make like the little circle reinforcement. But we're not going to need that because we're doing something else. And then in here, I did grab the party alphas because we're going to put a word on our banner. And we're going to do boo because, you know, it's Halloween. So these I can set aside. But they're just heavy, so I really don't want them to fall on, because the dog, of course, is like right behind my chair. Okay, so I have grabbed the Spooky Halloween stamp set and dies here. And we're going to do some stamping. And I did pre-cut some pieces. I'll show you those along the way. And I don't know if in the end I did use this one or not. Oh, yes, because you need, this one is for the little clips on top. So this is Fright Night. And I'm going to add the word boo with the big alphas, right? So I've cut them out here. But if you didn't want to use the large alphas, I actually thought you could also use these little words here. I really actually quite like these little words. Like there's like the little eek and the boo. You could use those on the banner also. And there's still lots of time to Halloween to make your own banner. So that's what I've grabbed. And like I said, I decided that I wanted it to say something. So we're still going to have the same number of letters. Or not letters. We're still going to have the same number of pennants. But we're going to, like I said, we're switching it up. Okay, so we're going to start with a black base. Basic black base for each letter. So here we go. So we're going to do 1, and then this is going to be the B, and then this is the O, and then we have the other O, so we need another one. Right? And then we need one more. Okay. And then I have one of the little like paper piece bats for the top of each of the letters. So I have 5 of those cut from basic black. So let's just grab our roll and folder. Okay, so we have 1 for each of the pennants. So you can see, right, we're going to take some of the parts, but we're switching some of the things up too. So I do have a white layer for the 3 that are in the middle here that are the letters. And we're going to do some ink blending on them, right? But okay, so we have 1, 2, so we need to fold up 3 more of these little bats. Okay, so, oh, look, 1 I folded, and 1 more. it is hard to see the score lines of the black cardstock with all these lights in my eyes, but here we go. So I actually think after I finish, I might add, after I string it, I might add another piece of the black cardstock to the back to make the back just a little bit more sturdy. That's my thought as we're getting here. Okay, so let's start with, we're going to do ink blending for 2 of the letters. I did one beforehand, so you didn't have to watch it 3 times. So we're going to do 2 more though. So let's push some stuff out of our way. Okay, so we're going to do something different on the first letter and the last letter. So the pendant, the biggest black one, is the 2 3/4 or 3.5 by 2 3/4, and then all my white layers are this next level layer, which is just larger than 3, but maybe these are actually 3. So all my white layers. So they're 3 by 2 1/4. And like I said, we're going to do something different on the 2 letters on the end. And then if you saw on that banner when I showed the image, right, there is a piece of shimmer shine, and it's the iridescent treat bags. So I did use the one that is 1 size smaller to cut out 1 layer of the iridescent bag, and this is going to be our O here in the middle, and we're going to still do our Happy Halloween on there, but we have all those pieces ready to go. So we're going to do some ink blending on these 2 for the B and the other O. So I started with my middle color, and I used Pumpkin Pie because I was trying to decide if I wanted to do 2 colors or 3 colors, and I ended up going with 3 colors. So it's Daffodil Delight at the top, Pumpkin Pie, and then Petunia Pop. So I just have my brush. And like I said, this layer is just like the basic white. I also, like I said, I'm going to show you for the first pennant and the last one, we're going to do something different. But you could actually make them all the same if you wanted. So I'm actually going to do both my pennants at the same time. Kind of brushing my paper in all the directions. Okay, I'm going to now do my Daffodil Delight at the top. And I'm not like going crazy blending yet. We're going to keep going back in and blending it. So Daffodil Delight now at the top, almost like a candy corn, right? Look, but with the purple at the bottom. And I like actually that this is kind of a nice little small banner. So you could actually like send it in a card to somebody too. By just like folding it up. And so I'm just going back now and blending the 2 colors together a little bit. And they really do look kind of like a candy corn. And then, like I said, we've got Petunia Pop for the bottom. And I'm just going to be careful, right? Because I've got the point on the bottom here. So add in my petunia pop. Going back with my pumpkin pie and blending it out a little bit. And then with daffodil. And then you can play around with it till you get it kind of where you want. I'm just trying to be careful not to actually get my fingers in the petunia pot and then put them back on my banner. So just in case I have something on my fingers. So see how much nicer this one is blended out than the other one. This one has like kind of a harsh line. So we're going to go back in and kind of try and fix that one so it's not quite so harsh. I do love to decorate for Halloween. We don't have any little trick-or-treaters here anymore, but still I really do like it. Okay, so I'm good with the way they look from this end. So I'm just going to actually close up my ink first. We'll grab a wipe. Clean my fingers and my work surface here. So we're just going to give those a few seconds to dry, and I'll show you. We're going to make one of each of the ends. Move my blending brushes up out of the way. There we go. Because I always forget to wet my chamois that goes with my glass mat before we start. So that's why we're using a wet wipe. Okay, I think I have everything off my hands. Okay, so like I said, we're just going to set these over here to dry for a few minutes. And we're going to start with the far end, which has the flamingo. So here she is, right? And so they put like a blended background and then stamped on top of it. But I thought it might be cute to add part of one of the scenes. So I cut that next size down from the scene paper. So I'll show you exactly where I got it from. So it's right here. So I just cut this down, right? And I decided which part of the paper I wanted for my background. So the flamingo we're going to do on that scene. And then the little bat, I picked this scene with the little cat window. So I just cut it out right like that. So the first thing we're going to do, I think, is I am going to attach my clips. And I want them to poke up a little bit. And like I said, I'm going to put an extra layer on the back after. So I'm going to attach them each to the front. And okay, so this is 2.5. So I'm just trying to decide what adhesive I want to use. So like I said, we're going to, let's use Seal. Okay. And let's get a ruler so they're all the same. So I think that looks about halfway. And then, so we've got our ribbon. And so it is the iridescent ribbon in the Petunia Pop. It actually matches this collection. Hey, Ellen. And I actually thought I had run out. And so I was a little bit worried. But I'm just trying to decide. Yeah, we'll just do it like that. So I'm going to put it flush with the top, right? And then this will loop over after. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to do the flamingo first because I personally think she's the cutest, but that's just me. So, like I said, we're going to put the little ghost in front of her. Or behind her, not in front of her. Holy smokes. She will be in front of the little scene. So, we'll just center this one. Okay. Oh, and you could just leave it just like this too. I think it would be really cute just like that. But we're going to put her walking down the street. So I'm actually going to pop her up on dimensionals. And, oh, no, I do. I'm like, do I not have any big dimensionals? Small ones will be handy for this project, but she's got some big body parts here. So, and then okay. We call Flamingo Day birds in my family. You love them. They are cute. Well, especially this one because she's like a cartoon version, right? So, and it's not every year you see a flamingo trick-or-treating, so I thought we needed to use her. So we'll put her like this. Okay, so then we have our first one done. Well, not done, but like we've got the start of her done. Okay, so then the bat on the other side. Like I said, we're going to do this little scene here with the kitty cat in the window. So let's add first our clip. There we go. And now we'll add our scene. They are birds with attitude. I'm just going to tell you, afraid of most birds. But like flamingos, I don't get to see them in the wild, so I'm probably okay with them. Okay, so for this one, we're going to do the little, here are all the little characters, right? Like I said, I fussy cut out most of them beforehand. So we're going to put the little bat over here like this. Oh, and she is so cute. Okay, and I'm going to pop this up on dimensionals because I can. It is. It works out perfectly as the clip for the ribbon, right? Okay. And I was going to leave it just like that, but I think that it makes sense to put another banner the same size on the back. And I think it'll just make it a little bit stronger so that as I fold it up, right, after Halloween too, and put it away, it will have a little bit of strength to it. Okay, so those are our two ends, which are super cute. Okay, now we can start working on our middle pieces. So I have the 3 pieces that are ink blended. So we've got the pig for over here. In the middle, we're going to do the little Happy Halloween. And then the bear is going over here. Okay, so let's get our clips on. And I can just use, because I measured 1 to get it in the center, I can just use it for measuring all of them. You could also just put the whole thing on the back if you wanted to adhere the ribbon just through, like you could put it like this and then run your ribbon through and then use that to close it up. But like I said, because I know I'm going to put another layer on the back, I decided I'm going to put these on the front like this. Okay, so I'm just using the other one to measure. So there we go. And now we just have this last one. Okay, so same thing, right? I'm just lining up my banners, putting my clip in the middle. The clip came from hold, please. So the clip is part of the Fright Night. So it's right here. And like I said, you could also use those words on the banner. You could actually, if you wanted, use these to create the banner too, instead of the banner die, if you wanted to get like more use out of the same die. Okay, so first we'll go, we're going to stamp some bats in the background here. Okay, so I just re-inked my memento, so we're going to have to give it some time to dry because I think it might be it was just so dry before. Okay, so we're going to put some bats up here. So this is for one of the O's. Okay, and then we need to do our so I'm going to let this dry. So we're going to do our Happy Halloween. Okay, so we've got that and our little guy for here. So they had a little banner on this gray print, and I'm still going to put I want to put my O underneath here. So, but I'm going to do the Happy Halloween on top. So we are going to Versamark it. So here is like that treat bag, right, that we've got underneath here on that layer. So I just grabbed the black embossing powder. And Happy Halloween. And so theirs was bigger. Oh, there's a little tiny, so you can use it as a ticket, but there's a little tiny score line across it. So it makes kind of the perfect clip. I've also used it like on the top on a scrapbooking layout on the top of a photograph as a little decorative element. So I made mine as tight as possible because I'm still putting the O behind it. So let's stamp the Happy Halloween. And like I said, it's tight. Like I made this piece as small as possible. Because I wanted to be able to see enough of the O on the top and the bottom. Okay. So now we'll use our black embossing powder. If you wanted, you could also just use black ink or instead, if you didn't want the little extra shine. Oh, that's so cute. Okay, I'm just going to put the lid on this, move it to the side, and grab a heat tool. So, too, right? The whole point of when I like do like Chris-ify something, it's to remind you that you can use parts of some things and change them up so they're more your own. So like I said, I grabbed kind of like the main idea, but then I knew I wanted to switch out some of the ideas to make it not necessarily cuter, but just more suited to my style. There we go. Now it's all nice and shiny. Okay, so that is going across like that. This is our little piggy for the bee. And I have here somewhere the little black fence. Okay, one moment. It's on my tray here somewhere. also always try and have a few more pieces than I think I'm going to need so that if I want to add something in, I can. Oh, here we go. Okay, so we have the little fence. And so there's two bats I have that are from just basic black. And here's the little fence. Okay, I think I have everything off my tray now I need. So I was just trying to decide how high up I want my fence. I know. So, and it's funny. So Ellen just said 25 years after I started card making, embossing is still magical. It's funny because there's so many people that I know that only started, like that was like their gateway technique, right? That they saw it and wanted to know more about how to do it, because it is magical. And really you're just like melting something onto a piece of paper. Right? Which is just funny. So I'm going to do it right about here, I think. Okay, and then we can add it to our panel. And then we're going to add our bee. Okay, then we have our little pig is going to sit off to the side so that we can see him. And there's a little crow for on top of his head. Like, how cute is that? Okay, so we'll add some adhesive to our pig. And I did add to each of my letters 2 layers of basic black underneath, just to give them a little bit more stability. Okay, so our little crow is going to sit there. And then I have one here that, so these guys came from the piece of paper, and there's actually crows going in both directions, like facing in both directions. So I'm going to add one facing each direction. And I use these same cute characters too, right, when I created that scrapbooking layout. Not last week, but the week before. I'll show it at the end because I do think these are so stinking cute. That one too, I added the spider webs to the letters, and you could actually do that same technique here too, and you wouldn't have to decorate it as much if you didn't want to. Okay, and I'm just going to put him or her on a little dimensional, but I'm going to actually add the dimensional to the background, and then add the crow on top of it. So there's our bee, but I'm going to add some of the stars on here. So I have the, shimmer star foam stickers. Oh my goodness. And I'm going to add a few black ones in the background. And actually, maybe we will go back and add a few to the flamingo, some of the purple ones. Because can you really have too many glittery stars? Okay, so we've got our flamingo done and our bee done. Now we need to put together the O. So here we go. We've got our ink blended piece. There we go. And then to add the bag, I can just add adhesive in the middle because I know it's going to be covered up, right, with our Happy Halloween. So if I know that's about where my Happy Halloween is going to go, I can just add the adhesive there in the middle. And so this one is just one size smaller. And actually you can hardly even see it under there anyway. So now I'm going to add my O. And my Happy Halloween. There we go. And our bats. I'm going to add them with the glue dot. I just bent up his wings just a little tiny bit. Okay, so we have our O, and actually I'm going to add some stars onto with the little bat in white. Okay, last letter. So I think my bat should be dry by now. Hopefully. So get that out of the way. That out of the way. And my O. And I kind of like that they're just kind of peeking through there. And then I have a pumpkin, but I also have a bear, I mean. So from the paper, I also cut out this little pumpkin I think we'll add. I can add this guy with a glue dot. I think I just need to stuff a little dimensional. Oh, awesome. Accidents are sometimes a good thing. Okay, here we go. So now I'll show you how I'm going to string it together. I just need to. There we go. Okay. Move some things out of my way here. So I was going to show you. So this was the scrapbooking layout, right? I did not last week, but the week before. You can find it on farther down in the videos here or on my YouTube channel. But I did the spider webs onto the letters. You could totally do that on here too, right? And so I used all these little characters on this page. Oh, thanks. So just another idea if you wanted to add something else to the letters. Thanks, Audrey. You could do something like that. But then I will take, so I'll leave like a tail on the end of my ribbon. And just for speed, I might just add a glue dot. So like I said, I will add another layer of the banner on the back. To like sandwich everything in and hold it more stable together. So and I can just clip it down. There we go. So they'll hang just like that. And if I need to adjust it, because I don't have that banner piece on the back yet, I totally can still. Sorry, I was trying to move something out of the way. But I can still adjust it to the length that I want between the letters. I'm just making sure that my ribbon doesn't get twisted. There we go. And like I said at the beginning too, I like the fact that it's not, this one's not huge. So you totally could fold it up and put it inside like a card and send it to somebody for them to decorate for Halloween. Okay, so I think it's super cute. And here, I'll show you, I'll have to cut one, but I'll show you what I plan to do for the back, because I don't think I cut any extras. So again, I'll just use the biggest one, and I'll grab just a piece of basic black here. And, oops. So now I'll flip it over and add this piece to the back. And then my ribbon will be all like sandwiched in there and secure, and it's not going to go anywhere. I just have to decide how far apart I want my pieces to be, but I'll probably hang them behind me. So next week you guys will still see it behind me until Halloween, maybe even after Halloween. But that's what I've got for everybody today. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Like I said, there's other things I've done with the Sticky Sweets, like including a scrapbooking workshop, that other scrapbooking layout from a couple of weeks ago. There's our inspiration over my face. So I hope you guys all have an awesome week, and we'll talk to you later. If you have any questions, feel free to add them into the comments below, and I'll come back and address them as soon as I can. Have a great day, everyone. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.